We're here today on Bobby Goins, the second Your Honor. He's currently charged with burglary in the third degree, petty larceny, burglary in the first degree, and grand larceny. I misspoke, Your Honor. He is charged with petty larceny, burglary in the first degree, grand larceny. He is represented by Charles David Barr. Your Honor, we had a plea or a bond hearing, I think it was back in May, before Judge McFadden. McFadden denied bond in this case. Mr. Barr has notified us that there's a change in circumstances and his client's having some kind of medical episode at the jail. We're here today to revisit that issue. This is Mr. Barr.
Please, the court judge.
Do you need a client?
I'm waiting his presence.
Okay.
And I'm standing here today with his father of the same name, who you probably know from your prior employment with Clarendon County and the Clarendon County Solicitor's Office. In any event, Mr. Goins, I do represent him, Judge, and he is 30 years old. The charges that are against him now, that is the larceny, and of course, Mr. Anderson did not, what happened at the preliminary hearing, the burglary charge and the larceny charge were dismissed. Those were charges that when Judge McFadden made his decision, he made a decision based on the totality of what Mr. Goins was charged with. The burglary and the larceny having been dismissed, we consider that a change of circumstances, because at the time that he came before the bond judge, those charges were still pending. Your Honor, there is a co-defendant. I think Mr. Floyd represents the co-defendant. I just saw him in here a few minutes ago. Now, the co-defendant has a bond. I'm not aware, Judge, of anything in Mr. Goins' record. He's in the Williamsburg County Jail, and my understanding is he's having some serious health issues. Now, I sent an email yesterday to the sheriff's office, to the jail administrator, indicating to them what had been related to me regarding his health care. I got an email back from the jail administrator indicating that Mr. Goins had not said anything to her or to her staff regarding his health. So, Your Honor, he did not tell me about his health situation. It was related to me by another family member. I simply brought it to the attention of the jail personnel because of the kind of implications that this thing could have in the future. But be that as it may, Your Honor, we would hope that the court, number one, the defendant has not demonstrated himself by way of a criminal record to indicate that he's a danger to any community. He lives right there in Greenwoodville. His folks, his parents, are from Greenwoodville. His daddy worked right at the John Deere Implement Company for over 30 years. He's now retired, but they live right here in Williamsburg County all their lives. He's not going anywhere. And he has not demonstrated that he has a record of crimes and violence. Because he was charged with quite a few different offenses, I think that's probably the reason why Judge McFadden denied his bond. But in any event, Judge McFadden provided that if the circumstances would change, that he could come back before you within that time period, within the 30 days, within 90 days, and ask you to ask that his bond be reconsidered. Judge, there's no reason that I can think of for this young man, who is presumed innocent of the current charges, to be denied a bond on a property gun charge. And that's essentially what I can understand how the victims might feel about losing some property, but at this point the man is presumed innocent, and I'm prepared to defend him. But Judge, he's entitled to get out. He doesn't need to be in jail. He's entitled to be free until his case comes to trial. And I'm asking you to set a reasonable bond whereby he can be released, and he will be right here in Greeleyville until his trial date comes.
Your Honor, just want to say a few things straight. One of the burglary charges were dismissed. He still has a pending burglary in the first degree charge. Judge McFadden denied the bond because he's a flight risk. He committed these crimes while he was on a GPS monitor. That was what concerned Judge McFadden in the previous hearing. But basically, Mr. Barr's motion is bifurcated. He gives two reasons there is changes of circumstances. First, some of the charges were dismissed at the preliminary hearing. I submit to the court that that is not relevant to this hearing. Mr. Barr is really fond of reading the bond statute, but he doesn't ever read the second part. And it says basically that that information regarding the defendant's guilt or innocence does not qualify as a change of circumstance. And having a charge dismissed at a preliminary hearing is exactly what that's talking about. But the second issue is much more valid, in my opinion. That is what the court needs to address today, is whether or not this man's dying in the jail. I'd ask that Mr. Bond's motion be denied in regard to the change of circumstances as far as the charge being dismissed, but I ask the court to have the jail make inquiries into this defendant's health and make its decision based on that. The victim is here. He's mad. He does not want this defendant out. This crime was committed while he was out on GPS monitoring for a different crime. He took lots of possessions that had sentimental value to this victim. He is here in court today, Your Honor. But that's what the state's concerned about, is that the first part of Mr. Barr's motion is improper and relevant, and the second part needs to be followed up on before we give him a free pass out of the jail.
Judge, I'm not asking for a free pass. Solicitor Anderson knows what the law says as far as his recitation regarding the bail statute. Well, I think he has misread that statute. That statute refers to information concerning crimes that the defendant is charged with. It's our position that he is no longer charged with the burglary and the larceny. And when that was dismissed, that was the end of that. Of course, I've never heard anything about anybody deciding to go to the grand jury to get a direct indictment on those charges. But my understanding is those charges are gone. And so that does not pertain to the guilt or innocence regarding offenses that he's charged with.
What is he charged with? What's pending right?
Burglary and
The first degree, grand larceny, petty larceny.
Now, you said he was on GPS monitoring.
That's right.
Was he out on bond on GPS monitoring?
He had a stalking type charge in another jurisdiction that is not, it's still pending, it's not been dealt with, but they had an ankle monitor on him.
my understanding of those charges in Dillon County have now been dismissed.
I have investigator McCants here. Do you know anything about those charges being dismissed?
In Dillon?
Yes.
No.
Well, Judge, it's my understanding that they've been dismissed. But what those charges stem from is an incident. He was living with a young lady in Dillon County, and he managed to give her all of his money, and she took the money and spent it. And they had a domestic altercation between the two of them, and the judge told him to stay away from her. And that's how he got the GPS device on, to make certain that he didn't go back to Dillon County and interfere with her in any way. But that's the only reason that he had the GPS monitor.
The clerk has confirmed that charge is closed, but that was how they caught him, is his GPS in his crime.
So, but did the GPS monitoring put him in the crime scene?
It did.
Yes.
So the tracking put him there multiple times murder?
Multiple times, Judge.
Okay.
This is Brandon McCants for the record, the investigator on the case.
All right, I'm gonna take this under advisement. I get a report of his health in the jail. If he does have health issues, I need somebody, a nurse or somebody in jail to tell me he does.
Judge, I just, for the life of me, I can't understand how, because one man lost his gun, and I mean, I've been coming before this bar a long time, and this is a property crime, is what it is. And I understand.
It's burglary first.
Pardon me?
It is burglary first, it's 15 to life.
Yeah, but Judge, I know
You
what,
say violent
I
offense.
know what the penalty is, but insofar as what they claim was stolen, you also got the larceny charge. And they're saying that a gun was stolen and that this gun is of sentimental value to the owner, which I can understand that. But anytime you have a property matter But this is, this violates due process. I mean, to have him in jail, and as I said, this is an unusual kind of, I've never seen anything like this.
People sit in jail all the time on a burglary first. I didn't make the statute, the legislation did.
Well, Judge, I understand that that's what he's charged with, but in terms of what they claim that he supposedly entered the premises and while he was there, that he took some property. I don't know anything else other than the gun, that's. But Judge, I appreciate the court taking the matter under advisement, and I certainly hope that you will take into consideration that I understand that the prosecution is claiming that they've got evidence that puts him in the vicinity of this location where, but Judge, I would submit that, and I heard the evidence at the preliminary hearing. The judge at the preliminary hearing heard the same evidence and dismissed the other charges. Thank you, Judge.
Okay.
Thank you.
May it please the court.
Yeah.
Appearing before you is Aaron McClary for warrant number W45180013. He was sentenced on indictment number 17GS4500065 for assault, battery, second degree on March 30th, 2017. Sentence was 2 years, suspended for time served, 1 year probation, special conditions. Warrant was issued on March 29, 2018, was served on August 1st, 2022 for the following. The offender failed to report as instructed and last reported on September 19th of 2017. He has moved without permission and no longer resides at the residence given upon his initial report to the probation office. He has failed to pay the supervision fee as required by the department and is currently $370 in arrears. This also is balanced. He is thereby.
Hold on just a minute. When he was placed on probation on March of 2017, and when's the last time he reported?
September 19th of 2017.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. He has thereby failed to follow the advice instructions of the agent and that he had the conditions explained to him and he signed indicating that he understood them.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Step forward, place your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God.
Yes, ma'am. May it please the court, thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, as Agent Bell has read, Mr. McClary was on probation starting in 2017. I think the period of probation was to end in 2018. He's got roughly $307 that he owes, I believe, in probation dues and fees. Based on the age of the case, Your Honor, and the fact that the probation period is supposed to already concluded by now, and I believe, and if I'm mistaken, Agent Bell, please correct me, I don't believe Ms. McClary's picked up any new
Not that we are aware of.
not any new charges in this, I guess, 5-year period since March 30, 2017. So, Your Honor, we would ask for his termination to be suspended or to be terminated, and for his $370 to be turned into a civil judgment, Your Honor.
He didn't report it.
Since September 19th of 2017.
And although, Your Honor, although we did not report, and I would probably, what I would submit, Your Honor, is that the basis or the purpose of probation is to ensure that while they're on probation, that the person on probation does not go down the proverbial wrong path again. That they don't find themselves in any new trouble. That they don't pick up any new charges. And I believe that if he's gone from March 30th of 2017 until September 1st of 2022, he has not been in any trouble. He's completed, I think he successfully completed the spirit of what probation is supposed to be in place for, which is to ensure that the person demonstrates rehabilitative behavior while they're out.
Yeah, but the judge gave him a break by giving him probation, and he didn't report for a year.
Your Honor, it says he last reported on September 19th and he moved. This warrant was issued on March 29th of 20, there's been no contact since September of 2017.
Well, instead of revoking him full, the fact he hadn't been in more trouble, I gave him some break, revoke 90 days and terminate.
Your Honor, that means, no administrative monitoring, civil judgment on the fees?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I say something, Your Honor?
Yeah.
Sir, I don't know if you know my history, I didn't have time to speak, but this whole, I mean, it make it seem like I'm the bad guy, sir, but I was reporting, sir. At the time, I lost my mom and I lost my dad at the same time back to back. I was staying in South Carolina with my stepfather. Then that's when I moved to King Street with my fiance and her mom on Babylon Road. I was there ever since. I ain't never ran from King Street. The officer continued. I stayed in King Street the whole time. So if I wanted to run, if I didn't want to, I would love. I was there the whole entire time.
Why didn't you report though?
Sir, when I was working with Rush Masonry, brick mason. Mr. Jake Wilson was my probation officer. When I told him that I was working, he said it was okay for me to send my fiance with the money. So she was taking the money up, that's how I got down to 300.
Is that right?
They wasn't hitting, so I had Mr. Wilson. I don't even know nothing about these people, you know what I'm saying? They really don't know my case. You know what I'm saying? And me doing that,
You getting any short any payment?
I should want payment.
I can show you the last time a payment was received. Last time a payment was received on February 26th of 2018, money brought in by Jasmine Bradley.
Same thing I said,
All right, so what about before that?
Before that, a payment was August 15th of 2017, it was cash.
So he went from August to February without making a payment?
Yes, sir.
I was February, so that can't be right, sir. That, Mr. Wilson, I promise Mr. Wilson, I talked to Mr. Wilson in person. When I went, he told me as long as I'm sending the money and let him know that I'm not running, that it was okay. Now, from 2017 to 2022, if I was running, if I was going to do something, I would have been trying to run, so I didn't even know nothing about this right here until I got put up for a traffic violation, and they said I had a warrant for probation by 2018. If I had known this, sir, I would have been out in this out. I thought they sent a letter in the mail from the criminal court saying that only thing I had to do was they were going to take $307 out of my taxes. They sent me a letter. And then, so I thought, oh, yeah, they sent me a letter. I probably sent me a letter. I mean, probably like criminal court now. I mean, criminal court. But she's right there, they sent me a letter. If you can look it up, they said that I don't have to pay $307 and they were going to let me.
Where's the letter?
Come my tax, sir, this was years ago, sir. I done lost my house and everything since then. And so I have 2 kids, I work, and I would actually, if you could put me in the payment plan for $370, I could pay that this week on the 8th. On the 8th, when I get paid, I will pay the whole $370. I don't want to drag it out, sir. I have 2 kids, 2 babies, and I have a wife. I don't want to go through this, sir. I mean, I did 10 years. I got it out the way.
I'll change the sentence from 90 days to continue on probation for 6 months and you pay it off. You don't want to report it in 6 months, you go
okay,
for 2
that
years.
works, sir.
Okay. Continue for 2 years. I mean, for 6 months.
6 months.
He's got to make his payment in 6 months. If you don't make it, I'm going to give you 2 years.
Okay, yes, sir.
I'll get 90 days now, you'll get 2 years if you mess up.
I'm going to pay that $370, sir.
You better report.
I am.
Okay. You don't report, you're going to do 2 years of penitentiary.
On report, sir. That's all I'm saying, sir.
This is Christian News TY. I'm Tony Conyers. If there are any newsworthy events in Williamsburg County, we will get them to you as soon as possible. If not, you can follow us on Christian News TY Facebook, you can follow us on YouTube, and you can follow us on our website.
My name is Aubrey. My name is Reagan. My name is Riley.
And my name is Robert.
For the best news,
Turn down the bass.
push that button and follow us.